The single most important problem of the American economy that everyone really knows is the fact that we are now one of the most unequal economies in the world. Over the last 40 years, to be crystal clear, we have had a redistribution of wealth in the United States. I'm going to start with the bottom half of the American people. The bottom half. We are a country of 330 million, so I am talking about 165 million Americans, half our people. Together, the bottom half have today 2.5% of the wealth in this country. That's what they own. 50% of the people have to get along by sharing 2.5% of the wealth. Try to get your head around that, and you will understand what it means when people tell you that half of Americans are poor, because that's the truth. Not the make-believe, not the fakery, the truth. Now let's take the next 40% of the people. They're richer, they have more than the bottom half, but less than the top 10%. So we've talked about the bottom half, 50%. Now the next 40%, what you might call the middle of the United States. How much wealth do the middle of the United States enjoy? 30%. Notice, less than their share of the population. If the bottom half get only 2.5%, and the middle, so we're now talking about the 90% of our people out of 330 million, they get 30%. That leaves the remaining amount. 2/3 of the income of this country is in the hands of the top 10% of our people. That is extremely unequal. And that's the secret. If you take 90% of the people and tell them you live on 1/3 of the income we all together produce, and we give the top 10% the other 2/3, that will make the 10% rich and the rest of us spectators as to how rich they are. Now, what is happening in the broader picture? Well, I've been telling you, and I'm going to tell you now again. When empires die, which every empire in the history of the world has done, and the empire that used to run the world for the last 75 years is the United States empire. We have more bases abroad for our military than all the other militaries of the world combined. We spend more on our military abroad than all of the rest of the world combined, and the rest of the world includes Russia, China, and so on. The dollar is the world's currency. It still is, although it's holding on by the edge of its fingernails to that position. Our empire, which was very strong in the second half of the 20th century, is now shrinking, slipping, dying. And when that happens, it is typical, and this is true of ancient Greece, Rome, Persian Empire, Ottoman Empire, British Empire, all of them. When the empires peak, stop rising and start falling, as again, every single one of them has done, the people that are rich and powerful at the top are in the best positions. They run the enterprises, they staff the government. They're in the best position to hold on to the wealth that the empire created. All of the pain, all of the costs of a declining empire, they push off themselves onto the people below. And no, they'll never tell you that. Oh no, they'll come up with a wonderful story. They're not acting out the declining empire. No. They are improving efficiency. Oh, sure they are. They're also picking daffodils. Don't be fooled. The capitalist system brought into being the British Empire. And when that empire could not carry the system forward, it left and it moved to the United States, which carried the empire a good bit further. We all know that here in America because once we had capitalist enterprises mostly in New England. But when they could make more money by leaving, they did. And they moved to the mid-Atlantic. And then they moved to the Midwest. And then they moved to the far west and the south, leaving behind empty factories, destroyed communities. Just like they do it internationally, it happens inside. Capitalism goes to where the profits are the greatest. And in the last 40 years, that meant leaving not just Britain to go to America, but leaving America to go to China and India and Brazil. You all know capitalism serves the 3% of our people that are employers. That's what it means to say a business is a profit maximizing business. It's a polite way of saying it takes care of the people at the top, the ones who get the profit. It doesn't worry about those who are expendable below. We let that system continue. We live with the results we are experiencing now. Capitalism, led by our manufacturers, quit the United States decades ago because it was more profitable elsewhere. We're left to celebrate a patriotism that is impoverishing all of us. History teaches us, if it teaches us anything, that in the long run, as masses of people understand the inequality imposed on them and what it costs them in careers they can't have, in jobs they can't get, in income they can't enjoy, in promotions denied to them, as it becomes clear that that's what an unequal society produces, they will not tolerate it. And then the bad news comes as the people at the top realize that the long-term payoff to taking more than a fair share is you lose it all. It's happened over and over again. And to those who think it can't happen here, watch. It is happening here. It's not sustainable what we are doing in this country. The people at the top, the millionaires who dominate in the Senate and the House, are simply feathering their own nest, imagining it will never come back to haunt them, imagining they can just go on and on. And they have been doing it for a long time. I'll give them that. But they're running out. They can't anymore. It's too extreme. We are watching what happens when that crucial moment is arrived at.